The story begins in Isgard, where civilians cheer and call out to the hero in the parade. At the same time, two siblings run to catch a glimpse of the parade. "Brother! Slow down!" the sister calls out, but her brother urges her to hurry as the parade is about to end. Along the way, they spot a man walking in the opposite direction. The sister thinks of directing him towards the parade, but her brother stops her because the man is a dark mage, and in Isgard, dark mages are shunned as cursed. In the next scene, we see a saint watching Isgard through her window. Soon, the dark mage arrives to see her. She thanks him and wants to reward him for eliminating the last threat to Isgard, calling him by the name Minold. But he refuses any reward except for what had been promised to him to be sent back to his original world. His real name is Kim In-jun, and he dislikes the saint for assigning him the job of a despised dark mage. Despite his foul-mouthed behavior, Kim has worked hard for the empire behind closed doors. The saint is immensely grateful for his contributions and asks him if he truly wishes to return to his original world. Kim replies with a firm yes. He wants to go back to his original world. He doesn't want to stay here anymore because everyone is using him. However, the saint doesn't want him to go. She implores him to stay for the sake of the empire, promising to reward him for the ill treatment he has received thus far. After hearing the saint's request, Kim asked what she would give him in return. The saint said she would give him whatever he desired, but when Kim requested things from his original world like Korean food, a monstrous PC, specs, and the fastest internet connection, she realized she couldn't fulfill those wishes. Instead, she asked him to ask for something she could give him from Isgard. Soon, the saint realized she couldn't fulfill Kim's desires and prepared for the return ceremony. Kim had not been in this room for a long time, and he had many memories that he did not want to relive. The saint asked him to stand in the middle of the summoning seal where he was originally summoned. After Kim stood there, the saint released the protection of the saint. Although it was called protection, it was just a leash that restricted him from fighting the saint. Kim was finally going to be released from this cycle. The saint told him that she really couldn't understand why he was giving up his incredible power that he had obtained here. Kim then told her to mind her own business, and asked if she wasn't concerned that after the seal was gone, she could die by his hand. But the saint was willing to accept the risk since she had started everything. After removing the protection, she asked him if he wanted to harm her. If not, she would proceed with the next step of the ritual. This involved removing the powers he had gained in Isgard. However, he used his dark magic to prevent her from doing so. He didn't want to lose all the power he had earned through hard work. It was a lie that he would give it all up. Then, he used his dark magic to open the dimensional portal, which was impossible for a dark mage to do. She tried to stop him, warning of the danger of dimensional travel. Surprisingly, she didn't know that he had practiced it over 1,000 times and had reached the pinnacle of his dark magic abilities. Finally, he left through the portal, cursing her. In the following scene, we find Kim back in his original world after escaping that dreadful place. He was thrilled to be back and eager to play his favorite games. However, he was disappointed to find that the network was down. To add to his dismay, regular soldiers were patrolling the neighborhood. Suddenly, one of the soldiers noticed something and became alert, but soon realized it was just a civilian. However, civilians were not allowed in that restricted area, and it turned out to be none other than our protagonist, Kim. The soldier advised him to move to a safer area. Kim assumed that they were conducting a training exercise. Suddenly, a monster appeared out of nowhere and attacked Kim from behind. One of the soldiers yelled for Kim to run. However, Kim realized that his demonic energy was gone. He quickly improvised and used his bare hands to defeat the monster, leaving the soldiers astonished. After killing the monster, the protagonist Kim is thinking about why the monster appeared on Earth. The soldiers are now scared of Kim because of the scene they witnessed. In the following scene, Kim is seen sitting in a car with one of the soldiers who explains to him the consequences of his actions, stating that he could end up in jail. However, given their commander's orders not to escalate the situation, they're simply letting Kim go. Kim tries to explain that he's not aware of the current happenings in Korea due to living abroad, which was an obvious lie as he had been transported to another world. It's then that Kim realizes that Korea isn't the same place he once knew and ponders over the events that might have occurred in the last 2 years. Around the age of 7, Kim had witnessed the emergence of dungeons, which brought forth monsters that started appearing in real life. With the arrival of dungeons, superhumans called Awaken also surfaced, endowed with abilities that far surpassed those of an average human. They formed a group called the Hunter Corps, which was newly established at the military base, and made it their mission to eradicate the monsters as soon as they appeared. Prior to Kim's summoning by the saint, Korea had no potential dangers of being harmed in civilian areas. Kim soon became anxious about his game, Dungeon Power Fighting, and pondered if the server had been shut down due to the recent phenomena. He began questioning the effort he had put into returning home if he couldn't even enjoy his favorite game. Unfortunately, the server remained closed. The soldier, having overheard Kim's words, grew suspicious of him. Although the whole world was in turmoil, Kim seemed to be ignorant of it all. The soldier refrained from asking him anything as he was intimidated by Kim's strength. Kim then asked the soldier if the game developers had been evacuated safely and if it was still possible to get a job at a game company these days. The soldier soon explained to Kim that the reason for the current dire situation was the weird phenomenon that had started spreading from the dungeons 2 years ago. One day, the dungeons began to appear more frequently and started getting larger, but the biggest problem was the increasing number of giant monsters emerging from these strange dungeons. As a result, the military could no longer control the dungeons, and the situation escalated to the point of locking down some civilian areas. Since then, the military has been trying different methods to fight back, but they lack the numbers to do so effectively. After listening to the soldier's explanation, Kim asked if the game companies were all right. As the soldier conversed with Kim, he inquired about his age. Kim's response was that he was 21 years old. Upon hearing this, the soldier told that Kim should soon enlist in the military. He would be required to serve for 5 years in the military. Kim was taken aback by this sudden news, as he had planned to unwind and play Dungeon Power Fighter upon returning home. But now, it seemed that he had no choice but to enlist for the next 5 years. In that moment, his phone beeped with a message indicating his enlistment date, and to his surprise, it was the very next day. As the next scene unfolds, we see Kim engrossed in playing his favorite game, while reminiscing about his past when his parents went missing. He had secluded himself in his house and spent most of his time playing games. When he was in grade 12, he was summoned to Isgard without having made a single friend. However, the PC room has now become a forgotten paradise of humanity for Kim. After satisfying his gaming cravings, he decided to check the internet for news articles. To his surprise, he discovered that everything the soldier had said was true, including the enlistment date that he had received from the Military Manpower Administration. Kim then realized that he would have been able to clear all the dungeons by himself if he had all of his powers from Isgard. Unfortunately, his body is completely depleted of the demonic energy, which is the main source of his dark magic. However, he is not entirely defenseless, and he still believes that he can clear all the dungeons by himself. After contemplating for some time, he resolved to take matters into his own hands and devise a plan to solve this problem. The next day, Kim arrived at the military base and was greeted by a gloomy atmosphere, as everyone seemed to be feeling down. Suddenly, a loudspeaker announcement instructed all soldiers to report to the auditorium immediately. In the auditorium, the military officials addressed the new soldiers in a harsh and critical manner. Listening to their harsh words, Kim recalled his previous master who used to beat him mercilessly during training. He realized that he had forgotten to seek revenge on that cruel person before coming to the military base. Nevertheless, compared to his previous master, the Earth instructors seemed to be much nicer to him. Shortly after, the battalion commander offered the troops the opportunity to join the Hunter Corps by asking them to raise their hands. Despite knowing that hunters receive different treatment than regular troops, nobody stepped forward and remained silent. However, one of the instructors spoke up and informed the commander that there was a volunteer. It was none other than protagonist Kim. The instructor then promptly asked Kim to step forward, and he leaped into action, impressively jumping high into the air before landing in front of the commander. The entire battalion was amazed by his remarkable display of athleticism. Kim then expressed his interest in applying to the Hunter Corps to the instructor.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and drop a comment below with your thoughts or any questions you have. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. Also, feel free to share this video with friends who might enjoy it. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.